What if Bud Crawford fights Boots in 2026? I think if he were to beat Boots, you would get no argument from me that Bud There's an argument to be made that Boots Ennis would be a harder task for Bud than Canelo. Before Terrence Crawford fought Sean Porter, it was who did he fight? Come to find out, Terrence Crawford is one of the greatest fighters we've seen in the past 50 damn years. I'm gonna keep it real. Terrence Bud Crawford is Black Murderers Row by his damn self. Terrence Bud Crawford. I did the video on, the morning after about Jerron Boots Ennis. Thank you guys for supporting so much and watching that video. And it seems as though that their plan for Bud, according to Eddie Hoyne, is after they do some things at 154 first, fighting people who are closer to his contemporaries. Makes sense to me. The problem is that clock. We at the end of the line with Bud. All right. Bud is 38 damn years old. And though this is the best we've ever seen him when he fought Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's still 38 damn years old. And a victory over Bud, as he advanced more and more, if you were to get a victory, it's kind of like that's definitely wasn't a prime Bud. But you have Max Kellerman saying, well, which means if you're going to do it, you have to do it now, which made me go to the head. If Terrence Bud Crawford were to fight Boots Ennis, that'd be humongous as far as his legacy. Just fighting him will make only the great ones do shit like that, right? Floyd Mayweather fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez, Muhammad Ali fighting Larry Holmes, right? When you are a great fighter, and Larry Holmes did the same for Mike Tyson, when you're a great fighter, you see the next one coming, pause, and then you go ahead and you give him that opportunity. You fight him any damn way. I saw Leonard do that with Terry Norris, saw Leonard do that with Camacho, things like that. But if Bud Crawford were to beat Boots, it made me think, I already have him on the Mount Rushmore. If he beats Boots next, you have a very good argument to say he's the greatest fighter ever. Let's check out what Max Kellerman had to say.
But if he does all that stuff and eventually blows himself up into the position where it makes sense for Crawford to fight him, at that point, Crawford is 40 years old.
I'm about to say that,
and
yes.
Boots is in his prime. So let me tell you something wild right now. I think Crawford should fight him right now if he's ever going to fight him.
If I'm Crawford, would I jump out there and fight? Because Boots ain't no easy fight. Is the risk worth the reward? You know what I'm saying?
The answer right now is no.
I think Boots is probably a little bit bigger than we're giving him credit for commercially, especially after this performance. And I think if you fight Crawford, it would rise to a level. Mm-hmm. After Crawford's win over Canelo on Netflix, I think people do want to see this fight. Is it a mega fight? Maybe not, but I do think it's a very commercially viable fight.
The number one thing to dissect is this. They're on Ring. Ring is owned by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Turki Al-Sheikh is one of those guys who pay a lot of money for fights that he personally want to see. He already said to Bud, hey, you're going to have to give back. Bud Crawford is not going to retire. He's going to keep fighting. So the Ring magazine owned by Turki is given the green light to cover this topic. Why? To see if there's interest. If there's interest, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has no problem paying for it to watch it right now. When they say how big the fight isn't, is it a mega fight? No, not every damn fight got to be the biggest fight ever. As long as you're getting paid enough of a reward to take the risk, Turki will make sure of that. The money's going to be there. The interest is going to be there. The opportunity is going to be there. The problem is that doesn't jive with Team Boots' journey and what they're trying to do. The question isn't, would Bud do it? The question is, would Boots do it? Now, my thing is this. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has, I think, a 2-fight deal or something like that with Bud. I think it's going to be 2 more fights with Bud. Boots want to fight Ortiz. Boots versus Ortiz next. That makes sense. Bud versus whomever at 160 or whatever. That makes sense. and maybe they can fight each other, not next, but after that. The opportunity will be there. And if you're a Boots fan or if you're team Boots, you should be looking at chops. Everybody wants 2 fights with Boots. They want Ortiz and they want Crawford. He fights Ortiz and fights Crawford. You're happy with him. What if Bud Crawford fights Boots in 2026? I think if he were to beat Boots, you would get no argument from me that Bud if he beats Boots, you'll get no argument from me that he's the GOAT. Here's the thing. There is an argument. There's an argument to be made that Boots Ennis would be a harder task, not a greater fighter, but a harder task for Bud than Canelo. After seeing how that fight went, there's an argument that Boots will be a harder task because styles make fights. Is that an argument? Yes or no? You saw Madrimov, right? That Boots can be a tougher task for Bud than Canelo. Who did Boots fight? Yada, yada. Who did Madrimov fight? Tough fight for Bud, though, right? I'm saying there's a chance that stylistically that could be a tougher matchup for him. A young Boots, big guy, very fast, great IQ, slick fighter, good power, Philly toughness. That guy right there with Terrence Bud Crawford knocking on his way. He'll probably fight him at 39 years old or some shit. That could be a tougher task. Yes. How can I put this? Lamont Roach being a bad fight for Tank. Who did he fight? Who was his best win? Whatever, yada, yada, yada. But stylistically, that's a nightmare for Tank. If Bud were to fight this guy who's on his way up and beat him, that's some all-time shit. That's some all-time shit. After Canelo, after Spence, at that point, it's hard to see Crawford as you can't see Crawford as beatable now. Hell, I got Crawford beating Boots. I'm just saying if he does it, you don't. That's Bud. I hate the narrative. Who did they fight? Another professional fighter. Y'all dumb up. Yeah, well, Sadatay, they were just saying that about Terrence Crawford. Before Terrence Crawford fought Sean Porter, it was who did he fight? Come to find out, Terrence Crawford is one of the greatest fighters we've seen in the past 50 damn years. One of the greatest fighters we've seen ever. I think out of all fanboys, I don't think the booty buddies should be looking at Boots and waving their finger, because all the stuff that you say about Boots, they were saying about Crawford. I don't think people were calling Crawford a duck, right? He's re-signed with Top Rank to stay away from the PBC welterweights. People be talking when they're fanboying. Come to find out, it was PBC that was ducking Crawford. Forget money and accolades, even though Bud don't need Boots. Every time Bud name come up, you hear Boots. Clearly, it's the fight people want, hate it or like it. It's the fight we want to see as fans. To that point, it's the same thing I feel about Tank versus Jake. This is all the same thing. Everybody complain and talk shit for the sake of it. But if that fight is made, the whole boxing world is lit. What it is to see a fight between Bud and Boots being made feels so unlikely that you have to diss it so you don't feel so bad about missing it. You have Terrence Crawford fans who want to dumb down the noise of him never fighting Boots because they don't want it to be like he ducked Boots. So you got to diss Boots for that reason. But if that fight is made between Bud and Boots, there's not going to be one person that is going to feel a bit of anxiety, right? A bit of excitement about seeing those two in the ring. When you look at Boots, somebody said it earlier. He's a poor man, Terrence Crawford. That's the point. He's almost looking in the mirror. But is he looking in the mirror too old? He's too far advanced, and he's looking in the mirror of what's to come. Like I said, Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes. Muhammad Ali was looking at Larry. Larry just all the moves that Muhammad Ali is, even how he talks, how he stands, how he jabs, how he works. But he's not quite Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a better fighter than him. He's a poor man's Muhammad Ali, but Muhammad Ali was too old, had Parkinson's, stuff like that. Then Larry Holmes takes him out. When you look at Boots, if you look at Boots and you look at how he's carried himself in the ring and how he fights, Boots Ennis is a great athlete. Boots Ennis is very strong. Boots Ennis is very big for the weight class that he fights at. He's very fast. He got a very high IQ. He's very slick. He's very tough. He can walk you down, knock you out. He can be slick and be, fast and quick and high IQ and technical and knock you out going backwards, knock you out going forwards, knock you out going side to side. Boots Ennis is also a switch hitter. Boots Ennis prepared Canelo for Bud. Boots Ennis was the perfect guy for Canelo to get because of those reasons. If you see those guys, even aesthetically, when they stare each other down, you're going to be ready to shit yourself. Everything is thrown out the window. His resume, him fighting Lima, whatever it is. When you see those two stare each other down, you're going to shit yourself. Because the thing about Boots Ennis, he's a problem for everybody. And you know it. Fundora, Charlo, Thurman, you can see it. You can see it in his abilities and skills. You can see it. If you were to see them two in a press conference, if you were to see them stare each other down, you would have nothing but chills. Because stylistically, you're looking at Boots and you think Boots can keep up with Bud. The problem with Canelo was everybody kept saying he's one-dimensional and he has slow feet. That's what everybody kept saying. Biz, you should have known. He's one-dimensional and he has slow feet. Boots Ennis, many dimensions. He has very good feet. He doesn't have the experience. Would that take Crawford through? I think so. But if they stare each other down and they make the fight, boxing is more lit. And if Bud were to beat him, he's Terrence Bud. He's the GOAT. Bud is 38. Not fair fight. Bud just beat Canelo. Canelo's a far greater fighter than Boots. But if you look at that and say, that's not a fair fight, that's why if Bud were to win, he's Terrence Bud. If he beats him, bruh, that's Rocky beating Clubber Lane, ain't it? If he beats Boots, who can't he beat? If he beat Boots, brother, you would just be like, he beat Sugar Ray Leonard, right? I mean, you would just be thinking like, I don't know who I'm already saying, I don't know anybody. He'll be a great fight for everybody ever. I'm there now. If he were to go back down and beat Boots, it's like, brother, I don't know who will beat him. My question is beating Boots greater than becoming undisputed at 160? That's my question. Let me ask this at the very end. Is beating Boots greater than being undisputed at 160? Because his accolades better than your op. Who is he beating at 160 that is more dangerous than Boots? Is it about the ops or about the medals? Hell no. It's about the medals over the ops, okay? We were just talking to Ryan Garcia about that. Is it about the accolades or the op? I mean, Rolly Romero was like a 3-time world champion or some shit, ain't he? Accolades crazy. Who all he beat? And Rolly's the GOAT, yeah. But I'm just asking. We saw Wilder have as many title defenses as Muhammad Ali. Is that the same thing? Is it the accolades or the op? I think beating Boots is better, as Boots is like to be the best fighter of this generation. I'm saying, if he beats Boots and Boots goes on and whoop Virgil Ortiz, whoop this and whoop that, brother. Now, I'm going to keep it real before I go. I'm going to keep it real. Terrence Bud Crawford is Black Murderer's Row by his damn self. Terrence Bud Crawford is a very scary individual. He is the most old school fighter I've seen since Hearns. Since I watched Hearns beat Virgil Hill at light heavyweight. Terrence Bud Crawford is completely throwback. He's one of the greatest fighters ever. I kind of want to see it.